Hi. Hello. Hi. My name's Carson, otherwise known as Fawnde. Today is my daily video diary. The time is currently 11:12 p.m. in the evening, and the date is April 21st, 2022. This video is going to be about the 20th and today the 21st because I've noticed, more like I've realized, I just do not have the time to make two videos and upload them both in the same day to catch up, so I'm going to combine these 2 days into one. I don't think it'll be a problem, you know. But I'm very, very annoyed having to always feel like I'm behind one, so I want to get back on track where I can make one, upload it, and then I'm done for the day. Because right now I'm one behind all the time, so it feels like I'm always slacking. And it doesn't really matter that much. It's more like a me thing, so I want to combine them and get back on track. Anyway, hello. It's good to see you, I think. Maybe it's not. Because I'm not seeing you, I'm just seeing myself, aren't I? Oh, this candle's almost done. I want to finish it off. Look at this little candle. It has nothing left to it. You know, I always hate how candles, you burn them and all the wax stays on the outside. I always hate that. Bothers me so much. Anyway, yes, as I said, I'm going to be combining today and yesterday together. Oh, that was actually all this thing had left. It burned out. I was right in saying it had nothing left. Hold on. I'll make sure I'm correct. It smelled so good. Yeah, no, there's nothing left. Well, I guess you saw the death of a candle with me today. Fun. Let's see. What I want to talk about today, I'm going to talk about some general things, just how I normally do, just my day. But the topic for today is going to be, it's not going to be like a topic for everyone, I guess. It's really just about me. I know I say that all the time, but this time it's really, like, this is not really advice today for anyone else. It's like understanding myself and what I think about my situation with exercise. Yesterday, let's see. I don't know what I talked about. Yesterday I mentioned, I think, that I ran a 5K. So yesterday morning I woke up at 6 o'clock and I really didn't want to. I seriously did not want to. I did not want to get up. I did not want to have to run. Firstly, I enjoy running, but I don't enjoy running. Same thing with stretching. I also don't enjoy stretching. Now, the reason I don't enjoy them is because I'm a slacker. Now, it's not because they're really like that bad and they're not enjoyable. It's because I'm a slacker, and whenever I have to put effort into something, I dislike it. You know. So it's not, I would still do it, don't get me wrong. I'll still do it, but I dislike it. So whenever someone asks me if I like running, I do like running, but at the same time, every time I try and run, I hate it. During the process of running or during the process of stretching, which I have to stretch every day because I go out and do stuff. So always during the processes, I hate or I dislike, and I don't enjoy hardly any of it in the moment. But the thing is, I enjoy, the reason I say I do enjoy it though is because once it's said and done, once I finish it off and I get back to a spot where I'm no longer in the middle of running or stretching, I'm like, wow, I'm glad I did that, you know. So there's this weird, I think a lot of people probably experience that with many things, and I think running especially. I know a lot of people, especially if you're not someone who's out into exercising or doing cardio, you hear running and you're just like, no thank you, I don't want to run. You know, my friends tell me that all the time. It's like, why do you run? I hate running. I don't want to run. I get it. I also dislike running a whole lot. It's actually my least favorite thing to do. And so when I look at my board and I see I have to run a 5K in the morning, I wasn't very happy. But I'm the one who decided to do it to myself. And while I was running, I was like, why'd I do this? And it's like, the reason I do it is because I thought about doing it. There's no more reason, no more need, no more explanation as to why I should do it besides the fact that I thought about doing it. I thought about running a 5K, so I ran a 5K in the morning. Did I enjoy it? Not during it, that's for sure. Did I do it? Yes. Did I stop? No. I achieved my goal of not stopping. And you know what? I did pretty well. I ended up running the 5K without stopping. I think my end time was like 34 minutes, like closer to 35 minutes, which isn't very good. But I also wasn't trying to run competitively, and I haven't ran in years. So it's not bad. I think on my watch, it said my average splits were like just about 9 minutes flat. But that makes no sense because my last little bit was like 6 minutes. So that doesn't make any sense. So I think my splits were probably closer to 10 minutes, maybe 10 and a half minutes, which is not that bad because I kept the same pace. Now, a lot of people were all about, you gotta go faster, blah, blah, blah. For me, keeping a pace is really good because I'm really bad at not keeping a pace. I'll want to more or less, run really hard, and then I'll get tired. Now slow down a lot. Now run really hard, and that ends up making my splits, my mile splits, all over the place. Like when I ran cross country, I'd have my first split might be like 7 minutes, then my next one would be 8, and then my last one would be 10, and that would just like ruin my race because I cannot keep a pace, So keeping a pace is something to be proud of. I'm glad I managed to keep a pace at least. However, when I got back, I didn't feel that bad when I got back. I was definitely sweaty, but honestly, I kept a pace. I didn't really feel all too bad. Thank God I'm back because I was sick and tired of running. I just woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and the first thing I do is go outside and run 3.1 miles nonstop. I don't care who you are. When I come back from that, I'm glad to be back. I'm glad not to be doing that anymore. Oh, thank you. But I was looking at my watch here. Tells me things like my heart rate, what kind of heart rate zone I'm in, just various things like that, like how long I was in that heart rate zone for what percentage of time, blah blah blah. And whenever I was running, I was only ever in basically vigorous or maximum like range, and that means I was only ever using my anaerobic system or even like the maximum reaches of my heart rate, which is not good. Let me explain to you what that means, because I assume you probably don't know, and even I don't fully understand it sometimes. So anaerobic basically means you're running and you're not using all the oxygen you're breathing in. You're not able to use all the oxygen efficiently, and it's basically you're running without oxygen. You can't use it right, so you're running without oxygen. That also, I believe, it kills some of your cells, but like that's not what I'm on about right now. And that's like I think 70 to 85% of your heart rate capacity. The maximum is like I think like something more like 85 to 95, maybe 100, I guess. And those zones are like maximum. You should never go to maximum unless you're like trying to be a competitive athlete or like you're trying to give it your all there for a few moments. And you really don't want to be anaerobic either, because in those two zones, that's where you get highly injured. A lot of injuries come from those zones. Now you might be thinking to yourself, how are you going to injure yourself just running? How do you injure yourself cycling unless you crash? Instead, you push yourself and your heart rate can't keep up with it, and you have a heart attack or you tear some ligament in your leg. There's a lot of injuries that happen because you're pushing yourself to where your body can't support it. So I realized while I was running, also I realized I was cycling like a week ago, and it happened kind of too, that I was in a really bad zone. The zone you want to be in is the one under that aerobic where you're using all of your oxygen but still pushing yourself. That's the zone you want to be in. And it made me start thinking. I was like, this is not good. If I keep up on this, I'm going to end up injuring myself. I'm trying to help myself, and I'll end up hurting myself, which is not good. Imagine that. Imagine me trying to help myself, then I can't do anything because I've injured my leg. Now I can't run again. Imagine something like that. Once again, I don't like running, so it's not something I plan on doing much. But that's a bad sign, because I thought about it. I was like, why do I go from just a normal heart rate to anaerobic so easily? Like, there's no in between for me. Either I'm like very slow and I'm in like the low intensity, maybe a little bit moderate, or I'm to the extreme. I'm either low end or extreme. I'm never in the middle where aerobic is, where I want to be. So I started thinking about it, started doing some research. I'm like, why? I was like, what's going on with this? Why is my heart rate always so high? And blah, blah, blah. And I realized that the issue is that my aerobic, my oxygen system, like where you want to be, is in complete shambles. It's like, it's destroyed. It's in shambles. It's all over the place. I do not have a developed aerobic exercise, like heart rate system, My aerobic system is not developed. And I was thinking about it. I was looking into the past a little bit, thinking about cross country, and I was like, I don't think I've ever had an aerobic system. I've never had that balance in the middle. I've never had a middle cut where I'm balanced. It's always ever been I'm doing nothing, or I'm doing so much I'm dying. And I started thinking about it more and more. And I started, when I was thinking about it, I talked to my grandmother yesterday because I went shopping. Every time I go shopping, I stop by my grandparents' house to say hi. And they're pretty close to the store, so I always make that a trip. Only my grandmother was there, but I was talking to her and I was explaining this to her and what I thought about it. She agreed with me, but I thought it was really strange because this realization I've had about my exercise and how I have no balance is a very, very good representation of me as a person, how I've been for years, how I've always been. It really shows. You have to think about it a little bit, but I'll explain it so you'll understand. But it's a great descriptor of how I act as a person. So I want to be in the middle. That building your aerobic system, which is in the middle, is the best thing to do, because that is going to make it easier for you to run, easier for you to do any exercise, make you last longer, and all kinds of, like, you can go farther, last longer on cycling, running, walking, whatever, if you have the aerobic system built up, because you can access more of your oxygen at higher heart rates, so you can push yourself more. But the thing is, I have none of that, because normally I'm either in doing nothing mode, where it's like very low intensity, maybe a little bit of walking, exercise. I've always been like this in cross country, in school, just low energy. I'm basically me being a slacker. I'm being lazy, being a slacker. I'm doing a whole bunch of nothing. So I'm in this low zone. But then I'll use cross country as an example. So I'm just doing work, school work in my senior year of high school. But I also decided to join cross country. So now I have cross country. So I need to run miles. I need to do races. But the problem is I don't have the time. I'm working a job. I'm trying to do schoolwork. I'm trying to prepare for college. I have a lot going on. So I go from doing nothing to suddenly being thrown into a race because I don't have the time to train myself. So I skip this middle part, which is what you build up to give yourself more endurance. And you have that higher gauge of what you can do. So I skip this part because I go from slacker, just living life, to boom, I need to start racing and training. And I don't know if many of you who know me might have seen it sometimes, but it doesn't come out very much on the internet, which most of you would know me by probably. It doesn't come out on the internet very much because I don't play games. I also don't play I don't play competitive games really. But I am, underneath all of this, I'm a super competitive. I like to show off. I like to be recognized. I think it's something to do. I don't know. I don't think it's an ego problem, but I think my ego is the kind of ego that likes flaunting my abilities, and I really like impressing people. I really like this idea of looking cool to other people. Like, for example, I was doing handstands yesterday, and whenever a car would come by, I would do a better handstand. Because just naturally, I'd want to do better to impress this complete stranger who'd probably forget about it, and by the time they got home, oh, there's a guy doing a handstand. They'd forget about it by the time they got down the road. But in my head, it's like, there's someone watching, there's someone to impress, there's someone to amaze. I need to do better. So naturally, that handstand I did that time was better than the ones when no one else is around. It's the same thing when I was running. It's the same thing when I'm doing anything with eyes on me. I get secretly really competitive to show others up and impress people who are watching. That's more or less what it is. And that's part of my ego, how my ego works, how I always want to seem super cool or whatever it is. I think you get the point. But the thing is, when I would do the racing, we'd have audiences. I'd have a team. I'd have coaches, even during like practice sometimes. So there's basically people to impress and expectations put on me. So that would bring out my competitive side, where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna push myself. So then I'd suddenly go from being a slacker and lazy to not doing really the training part some of the time, to suddenly I'm going full in because I'm now competitive and I'm really feeling it, so I'm going to give it everything I got. But the problem is, giving it everything I got is not the right way to do it, because I'm going to end up hurting myself. So during races, I would give it everything I want, everything I got. And it's the same thing for an easy way, the way my grandmother said it, which is exactly right. I get hyper-focused. For example, I play video games. I know I don't play many video games, so I don't enjoy them, but I do enjoy strategy games. So I'll start playing a strategy game, and I'll get like super hyper focused on that. Or maybe I'll find like a topic I like. For example, I'm getting into cooking now and eating healthy, so I'm super hyper focused on eating healthy. I'm like trying to read all these nutritional facts and all kinds of stuff. And so I went from doing nothing to giving it like 110%. But the problem is, well, the main point is exercising. The problem is, during exercising, you can't go from being a slacker and lazy to giving it 110%, because you're going to hurt yourself. And it's weird to say, because I think when people think of giving it 110%, you're giving it your all, that's a good thing. But with what I'm doing, it's counterproductive. Going 110%, putting myself in an anaerobic and maximum heart rate zone, is counterproductive. It is increasing my endurance, but it's increasing it in a negative way that will eventually lead me to having an injury, most likely. And especially, it's weird because my goal is to be losing weight and mostly get rid of my belly weight, and then rebuild muscle afterwards. So it makes no sense for me to give 110%, because it's not doing what I need it to. And I've realized, in that moment, I realized my entire personality is built on this idea of I'm lazy, I'm a slacker, I don't do anything, to suddenly I get into something and I get super competitive and I give it everything. So I go from nothing to everything right away, and I never build up. I skip the build-up process. So that's why my aerobic system is in complete shambles. And that's a good reflection of how I am as a person, because I do the same thing. And a lot of times it causes burnout. A lot of times it causes severe burnout, which I've learned in many cases, which I'm trying to avoid with what I'm doing now. But a lot of times it does cause severe burnout. But anyway, back to the point. I've realized this is a genuine issue, because I have a very hard time, since I've not built my aerobic heart rate zone, I have a very hard time trying to meet it without going over it. Because whenever I'm walking, I have a very hard time to actually get into that zone. And then whenever I start running, I'm instantly past that zone. So what I've done is, yesterday, once I realized this problem, I ordered it's a heart rate monitor that you put on you wrap around your chest. And I just need to connect it to your watch or your phone, whatever. Not sure. I'll figure it out. But I'm throwing time out the window, which doesn't matter too much, because naturally me training my aerobic zone is going to make me faster, just generally, so I don't really need to worry about time anyway. But I'm getting rid of anything time related, and I'm going to solely base my pace and speed off of my heart rate, because I have to build my aerobic zone. I think is roughly around like 131, 132 to like 150 or something, I think. So I need to be in that heart rate zone to build it up. Like today, for example, I woke up and I walked my 5 miles. And I was trying my best to stay in my aerobic zone. And it was so hard to stay above like 132 or whatever. Like it was pretty easy when there was like an incline, but anytime there's flat ground, it was super hard to get pace myself. I couldn't force myself to go fast enough to get my heart rate up. I did really well though. I think 50 something % of my time. Actually, no, I think even more. I think maybe 60% of my time. I just have to look. Actually, I don't know what I'm trying to guess. 1 second. It'll just take me literally just a moment. Just not click on it. But most of my time was spent in aerobic zone. Let's see. Never mind, I can't check here. I have to check on my phone. Most of my time was spent in the roads. There was some time spent in the weight loss zone, which the thing is, that's good because I'm trying to lose weight. The aerobic zone gets rid of the most. It gets rid of like 50% calories and 50% carbs. Or is it maybe 50% fats? I don't know. And then the workout zone, or the weight loss zone, gets rid of 65% calories. So that's good. Yeah, today I spent 57.1% in the aerobic zone, and then 37.7% in weight control zone. So I did pretty well, but it was still really hard to try and. The reason I was so much in the weight control zone is because it's really hard for me to get myself over the threshold into the aerobic zone, at least all the time. Like, it's really hard for me to pace myself. But that's what I have to start doing. I'm going to have to start training myself using that heart rate monitor I'm going to have on my chest so I can build it up. And then the thing is, there's a bit difference in athletes. Ones who have a well-trained aerobic zone versus ones who don't. Someone with a well-trained aerobic zone could probably do a 5K without like being hardly tired at all. It'd be like a breeze, you know. Running a mile would be a breeze. It'd be really easy because they're not going into like they're using all their oxygen, so it's not that rough. But then you have a complete newbie who is not trained theirs, and they're going to be in a lot of pain because they're going to be in their anaerobic zone in a lot of pain and potentially hurt themselves. So the goal now is to build up my aerobic zone, which that's where I want to be. It's perfect because I want to be in that zone to lose weight and slim up, and I also want to be in that zone to build myself so I can actually do more stuff and not be so tired, and also not risk injury. That'd be very very unfortunate if I got injured. Well, that's what I'm doing with my exercise, so I need to change it up. The heart rate monitor will probably be here Monday or something. That being said, though, what else is there? Oh, yeah, I went shopping yesterday. Let me tell you. I went shopping, and I bought some stuff. I bought some, like, canned salmon, some various, like, a little bit of food. I also bought some tilapia. I'm going to try and learn how to cook. But I also bought some, I bought coffee, tea, and some pots and pans for bread making, and, like, obviously a tea kettle. And that thing, it came out to, like, $75. I want you to keep in mind that, I also bought dry erase markers for my board. That's really expensive. Dry erase markers are expensive. But I just want to state that I lived an entire month off of like $25 worth of food. Well, it was more like $35, but I didn't eat over half that food. So like I survived an entire month with like hardly any of that, and I've been trying to eat healthy is so expensive. It's crazy. It's crazy expensive. Just like, wow. Which I don't mind it, you know. I need to, I was telling the guy, because after I asked him, I was like, is this right? And he showed me the receipt. He's like, yeah, it adds up. I was like, yeah, I guess that's why you make money, to spend it. We had a little laugh over that. Man, I love talking. I feel like a lot of people feel the opposite of me, but I hate the fact that there's all these self-checkouts in all these stores now. Self-checkout is the worst invention made. It's the worst invention made ever. The reason that is because I like to go to the store, and whenever I buy food, I want to go in line so I can talk to the cashier. I don't want to go check myself out. Part of the fun of shopping is going to see the cashier, have a little bit of social interaction, say hi, how's your day, just have a little chat while they're checking you out. Boom. Is that too much to ask for? So I'm so thankful that they still have a few. I actually will, if I go into a Walmart or any store and I don't see a cashier, I will usually leave. Now, that probably sounds extreme to you. If I need something that's simple, like yesterday I forgot to buy yeast. I needed to buy yeast to cook bread. Because I want to learn how to bake bread. So I checked out, and then I got to my car, put everything up. I was like, I forgot yeast. So I had to go back in. Now, yeast is like literally, I got 2 packets. It cost me $1.85. Now, I didn't go into line for that. I did go to self-checkout for that one. But whenever I go shopping for a decent amount of stuff, I like going through a person. It's just more fun. It just feels better, It makes my experience better. Talk about experience, by the way. I love cooking so much. and you might be thinking, oh, because it's delicious food. No, my cooking is usually pretty bland. Won't lie. I think at least someone's told me it was bland before, but like I'm so used to it, I can't tell if it's bland or not. I don't know. But the reason I like cooking so much is because I get to do hand wash dishes. Sometimes I'll actually sabotage our dishwashing machine so I can hand wash dishes. Some people, when I say that, some people think I'm being sarcastic or lying, but no. Hand washing dishes is the best part about cooking. Cleaning up after yourself is actually the best part. If I had lived in like the 70s or 60s, I would be a fantastic housewife. I'd be like the best housewife I've ever seen. Like I'd be like, hey, honey, I want to wash the dishes. I'd be a great housewife. And I'm just, that's just the best part about cooking, And I think it's really, really interesting because I think that's a good reflection of how I am actually as a person. I think in actuality, I like doing work. I like having something to do. I like when there's something I have to take care of, such as doing dishes or cleaning up after myself. A lot of people are like, I've got to clean up. I've got to wash dishes by hand. I'm so lazy. I'm the opposite. I like doing stuff like that. It makes me feel, it's weird to say because, it makes me feel alive. But that's strange to say because I bet a lot of people be like, what, washing the dishes by hand makes you feel alive? Like, what does that mean? Something makes you feel alive would be like riding a motorcycle down the highway at 80 miles an hour, with the wind in your face. Or skydiving, that makes you feel alive. But those people have a different sense of what being alive is. To me, being alive is like very simple, The little things in life is what proves to me that I'm alive. The fact that I clean up a mess and I have to clean it up because no one else is going to, and that I put this responsibility on myself, that's what being alive is. It's the opportunity to do things, the opportunity to clean up because you could, or just whatever. I don't know. Simple stuff like that. When I go outside in the morning, like this morning I woke up and I felt awful. I was like, I do not want to go walk 5 miles. I do not. I do not want to push myself to be in my aerobic zone. I do not. But then once I got outside, I started stretching and then I started walking. And then I was happy. I was like, I'm alive, Stuff like that makes me feel alive. Just simple things. I look around and I see a tree outside. It reminds me that I'm alive, just anything. There's just so many things, that add into that sense. And I think I myself take it for granted a lot, and I have for many years. So by association, I figure many other people take the simple things in life very for granted. People, myself included, I'm not trying to, be like other people are all blah, 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 this, that. I also, the reason I can talk about it is because I know it for myself. But I feel like many people just complain all the time. It's always complaining about something. Oh, my internet's down. I gotta make my bed. I gotta go to school. I gotta go to work. I gotta pay the bills. Blah, 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 blah. Complain, complain, complain. Do something about it. You thought about that? Now, I get sometimes it's very hard to do something about something, and sometimes the things are almost unavoidable. I get that. But if you notice yourself complaining a lot and you feel unhappy, you should start thinking to yourself, how many things are just my fault? My grandmother, my grandmother's a teacher, or she was a teacher. She for several years. I had her in school for. She retired about my sophomore, junior year of high school. But she was talking about how she had a student that she saw on Facebook, or I think it was a student, maybe it was just a person, who was complaining about how everything's going wrong and how they can't do anything. How they just, they're basically complaining about their life, and they're like, there's nothing I can do about it, blah blah blah. What do I do? The thing is, they're complaining when in reality they have full control of their life. Everyone has just about full control of their life. I want to put it in the sense of this. You have full control in your life. Now, I'm not trying to tell you, change your life. But whenever you start complaining or you start questioning things, you should start thinking, how much of this is just my own fault? How much? Because if you think about something and you realize it's your own fault, you shouldn't be discouraged to be like, oh, I'm ruining my life. You should be ecstatic. Because as soon as you realize something is your own fault, that is something you can fix. The things you should be really worried about are the things that are not your fault. The things that happen that you have zero control over. Those are the bad things. But I think about 90% of things that we complain about, things that bother us, things that make us suffer. Whenever we think, oh, we're so sad, so depressed, I don't feel good today, I feel like awful, I'm so bored, why does my body hurt, oh, I feel like my life's being wasted. All those statements, 90% of that are things we can change. 90% of it. The thing is, we're just, perhaps for some people it's too afraid. I'm very afraid of the unknown. Some people are afraid. Some people are just so lazy. Some people have no motivation. Some people actually don't care enough. They just complain to complain. But if you stop and you start to wonder to yourself and start thinking about all these things, maybe you're depressed. Think about, why am I depressed? Maybe it's because you woke up super late and you missed a meeting. Okay, you're depressed because of that. Well, that's on you, buddy. Now, don't get sad because you fucked up. Make a step to change it, That's virtually what I've done with my life right now. That saying my grandmother was by that she heard from someone, that she's we're all in full control of our life, There's no point in complaining, but because more or less, if we're going to complain, we might as well make the effort to change it. And that's more or less what I'm doing, now, or trying to at least. Like, for example, I haven't read it yet, but I got a message back from a potential piano teacher, and I think I saw the first part of the message, and she says that they do teach piano. I haven't read the rest part. It might be something like we don't right now because of COVID. I don't know. It might not work out, but I'm taking the steps because I wanted to learn piano. I'm taking the steps to learn piano, and the thing is, this is another topic. This, unlike what I've learned that first part from my grandmother, and that she ended up experiencing from someone else. I kind of already knew it, but I now think about it more because of her. But there's something I've realized myself, and this is all from my own self and my own experiences. A lot of times whenever I go to change myself, or I go to do something, or I experience something, I'll start to get kind of sad. For example, a few weeks ago on VR chat, it was in a great pub. There's no one around. It was me and 3 other people dancing in front of a mirror. All of them were German or knew German. Now, they also taught English, or spoke English, so I could understand them if we talked to each other, don't get me wrong. But in that moment, when they were all talking to each other in German, I thought to myself, man, it sure would have been nice if I would have started learning German a few years ago. And then I realized, as soon as I said that was like a couple of days before I started changing my life, or trying to. And I realized I'm not doing any of this for me right now. Like, the me that's talking right now is not doing any of this to help the present me, because it's not going to help the present me. Well, I'm doing this for the future me. Because that future me who was complaining about learning German, if I could have learned German 2 years ago, well, that me who said that could have started learning German at that moment, and then the me in 2 years would end up thinking that past me. Be like, oh, I'm so glad I learned German 2 years ago. But since that me who complained about not knowing German still decided not to learn German, in 2 more years, I'm once again going to complain about the past me not learning German. But in reality, I can simply decide for myself, it sucks I didn't do that or do this. In that moment, I can decide, I'm going to do that. I'm going to change. I'm going to work on this. So in the future, whenever me looks back and tries to complain, they won't have to complain. Instead of complaining about me right now who didn't help them, they'll thank me. So all this work is not for present you. I think That was something I suffered with a lot, and I think a lot of people get stuck in the moment, and that causes burnout. But what you're doing is not for yourself. It's not for the present you. It's for yourself in the future. So when you look back, you think to yourself, in 2 years' time, 1 year time, however much, if this piano thing goes through, I'll probably thank myself for learning piano. Instead of looking at someone playing piano and wishing I knew how to, wondering why I never started learning in the past. You see, it's like that. It's like what people tell you. It's never too late to start. That's basically what I'm saying right now. It's never too late to start, and that's why I'm starting. Because in a few months' time, or however long it takes, I'll probably find myself complaining. I've always wanted to do this. Why? If only I started learning this months ago, I could participate in what's going on right now. I could relate. I could be doing this now. But I never decided to do it. And in that moment, I can either decide to keep not doing it, or I can decide to change myself and do something. So the future me feels happy, the future me thinks the past self, and the future me has more skills. That's what I'm in the process of right now. Everything I'm doing right now, some of it sucks. Sometimes when I'm out exercising, it sucks. Sometimes I try a vegetable and I'm just, I tried cucumbers the other day, and they weren't super bad, but I really had to force myself to eat some of them. I did not really enjoy them, but I didn't hate them, but I tolerate them, but I didn't enjoy them yet. Same thing with other veggies. I started eating greens, not for me right now, but for a future me, to be healthier, to have a better diet, to have a bigger palette of food, to learn how to cook, so one day I can cook for someone, for myself. It's all things I'm doing for a future me, and in turn, I'm doing it for a future someone else as well. Because that future me who has all these skills that I've decided to start working on now, because I'm sick and tired of complaining about myself in the past, is going to have these skills and is going to be able to fill my own ego about impressing someone else and make someone else happy, or interest someone else, or, be a guiding light for someone else. I can eventually become a role model. That's one of my goals, is to one day be someone that someone else, looks up to. I've had people compliment me on my YouTube videos, or say, man, I really liked that video, or I really liked what you did there. I've had that, and it feels great. Or someone say, I really liked your stream today. I've had that. It feels amazing. But what I really want is to be something that changes someone else's life. I want to be a guiding light. But the first step is doing that for myself. And maybe my own flight will inspire someone else. Maybe I'll look back at these videos in a time of need and I'll inspire myself. It's there's infinite possibilities. But the thing is that it's all a step at a time. But this video is going on. This is probably the longest video diary yet. I've had a lot to talk about, I guess. 2 days combined into one. I don't know. It's a lot to talk about all the time. Oh, by the way, I cooked. So I felt kind of bad because it wasn't really a healthy food today, but I cooked myself some pancakes today, as well as 2 slices of bacon and 2 eggs. That was my breakfast. It was more like a lunch. I ate it an hour ago, so it was 2 hours ago. It's like a lunches. It was kind of like a brunch almost. It was really good. For the first time, well, I've made alright pancakes before, but it's telling me I'm inactive. No, I don't do a torso twist. Thank you though. It's really good. I finally learned. I think the issue I was doing is I got confused with baking powder versus baking soda. Baking soda is 3 times more potent than baking powder, so I was adding too much, which was partially ruining it. And this time I also decided to add some vanilla extract, which made it really sweet. They weren't very fluffy. I think maybe my baking soda might be a little bit getting closer to out of date, so they weren't very fluffy. Or maybe I didn't add enough, I don't know. But I think next time I'm going to... They're really good, mind you. Not very healthy, but they are going to give me enough carbs, so when I cycle in a little bit, I'll have plenty of energy. What was I trying to say? But next time I'm trying to use brown sugar instead, because I think brown sugar will give a completely different taste So I'm gonna try that. I was thinking about black tea. I'm planning on cooking. I guess it'd be brewing. It'd be brewing black tea later. I'm starting to drink. I drank coffee today. I drank black coffee today. I never thought I'd like black coffee. My grandmother always still loves it. Tried it one time. I disliked it. I've never been a coffee drinker, but I got some coffee and I tried it. And I think black coffee is gonna be something I start drinking. I'm going to try black tea today to see what I think about that. But you know, black coffee and black tea help or tea in general, coffee in general too. They help your metabolism and burning calories because I think it's through the heat. It's like so hot. Your body has to regulate it. So it's a good thing to drink. Plus, you know, it's a healthy supplement, I guess, compared to water. And it's mostly water anyway. I gotta drink it. Which I gotta mark off today. Look at my prison marks on the back. I mark off every day I drink my gallon of water. My little prison marks. How many days? Actually, that means it's been 9 days already. Time really disappears, doesn't it? It really does. I don't know. I've been doing to probably cut it off here. I'm gonna keep talking forever. I'm going to go. I'm gonna go take a shower. You can see you can probably tell. My face is really oily. My hair is too. I didn't shower after I. Oh God, I drank too much water. I didn't shower after I got back from exercising this morning. I decided to cook first and do whatever. So I didn't do that. Oh, that's what I want to talk about. There was this dog outside when I got back from my walk. There was this dog outside. It was super like frightful. Like it was like the kind of dog where you get close to it, it just like jumps and it runs away with its tail behind its leg, like it's been harassed or something. I'm a sucker for animals. You know, I feel like a lot of people I know online are like, "Oh yeah, I'm a cat person. I love cats. Cats are so great." Yeah, I love cats too. But I like dogs. Like I'm a real sucker for dogs, especially. I think it's because with dogs you can really recognize the amount of excitement they have and like how happy they are. Usually if you see like a stray cat, they won't even approach you. Like that's like a no shot. But every time I see like a stray dog or a dog like on the run that looks like it might be stray or hungry, it's just so heartbreaking all the time, you know. It's always so relieving when you do something. So I went inside, you know, he came close to me, he wouldn't approach me. But I went inside, I went downstairs. I didn't have anything, I didn't have any chicken or anything. But I also didn't know if raw food would be a problem, so I didn't want to give him like a raw thing of chicken. I was like, I don't know exactly how that might work. It's also frozen, so that wouldn't have worked anyway. But I got like 2 or 3 slices of like turkey sandwich meat, took it out to him. You know, I fed him. He actually bit me once. It wasn't like a hard bite. It was like a little, like a nip. Like he was trying to get the turkey out of my hand, and he accidentally bit me when he was going for it. It didn't hurt enough, but you know, I was just like, oh, gotta be careful. But he was like this super cute kind of dog, and you know, he's really afraid. It took him ages to come up to me. It was funny because at the same time when I went to get my turkey meat, one of my cats, Lucy, came outside. And Lucy was like on guard against the dog. Like I went to go feed the dog. He turned around, like was about to come to me, and then him and Lucy made eye contact outside, and they both like froze up. So I had to get closer to the poor dog because I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen. But the dog eventually came up to me, scared Lucy a little bit, so she backed off some. But you know, I fed the dog the turkey meat, and he went. The reason I like dogs so much is their emotions are just so visible on their face and in their actions. I fed this dog who was like super scared, super afraid, super sad and depressed. I gave him a little bit of food. They always say, don't feed animals or they'll come back. I can't help it, you know. You know. I mean, I have money. I can buy food any day, but that dog can't go to the store and buy some food, you know. So I fed him, and as soon as I fed him, and as soon as the food ran out, he started, instead of doing his little sad walk where he's like, 4, he started jumping around, barking. He was jumping around, asking me pet. Like he was doing circles. He basically he got like 100% energy back. And then he started. Then he started trying to play with Lucy, and Lucy was not having it. Lucy had to run. Lucy got scared and ran away. And the poor dog, poor Lucy too, I guess. You know, the poor dog got so excited after being fed a little bit. He went from like super docile and scared to like super, basically turned into an actual dog, trying to play with the cat without thinking about it, and the cat ran off. I don't know. I don't know where he probably ran off. It's been hours ago, but that was you know, doing little things like that made me very happy. I'm a sucker for animals who need help, especially dogs. You know, everyone's like a cat person, but no. For me, it's I do the same thing for a cat. Don't get me wrong, but naturally, it's easier to do it for a dog, I think. And it's I feel very good, and I'm very happy whenever what happened today when a dog seems like they're really depressed and down, and I can just give them a little bit of food, and they just do a complete 360, or I just do a 180. They're a complete 180, and you know they're super happy. I hope that dog has I hope he lives somewhere. You know, I hope he has somewhere to live. I hope he has somewhere to return to. Anyway, this video is going on forever. I don't even know how I managed to talk for 46 minutes. That's crazy. I'm going to end. I was also end stream. I'm going to end the video here. Thank you very much. I'll make a video tomorrow for tomorrow and upload it tomorrow. So I'm back on track. Anyway, I need to go cycling or do something. So I see. I'm gonna take a shower. I'll probably take a shower and then cycle later. Who cares? Anyway, bye bye. Thank you very much for watching.